Hey, third grade. This is Mr. Roney from the Syracuse Academy of Science and Citizenship, and today we're going to learn about solving word problems using either multiplication or division. So at the end of this lesson, you're going to know the following things. First of all, you're going to know some important differences between multiplication and division. Secondly, you're going to be able to solve some word problems using multiplication and division. And thirdly, you're going to learn to use pictures to solve those word problems. So let's get started with the first part of our lesson, talking about some differences between multiplication and division. So here you see I made a T-chart for us to look at. So first of all, on one side we have multiplication, and on the other side we have division. And we're going to list things that are true about multiplication on this side, and then some things that are true about division on this side. Now, multiplication and division are related, but there are some important differences. So let's talk about what those differences might be. First, let's give an example of what a multiplication problem looks like. We'll do something simple, like 2 times 3 equals, what do you think? Yeah, that's right, 6. A lot of you guys know how to do that. The related fact for division would be starting with 6, dividing it by, let's say, 3. And what do we have left? We have 2. So those are just examples of what a multiplication and division problem look like. Now let's talk about what they actually mean. So, a multiplication problem we can turn into words. So if we're going to turn this multiplication problem into words, we can say that 2 groups of 3 equals 6 total. So when we're talking about multiplication, we're talking about groups of the same size. Should have wrote this before. It's taking me longer than I thought. So groups of the same size. All right, so let's turn this division problem into a sentence as well. So 6 things divided into groups of 3 means that there's 2 in each group. So with division, we're also talking about groups of the same size. And I'm just going to do some dots there to show you that this and this are actually the same between multiplication and division. Let's move it down a little bit. Or let's move ourselves. What am I doing here? There we go. I'll move ourselves down so that we can see this a little bit better. So, the next thing we'll talk about is what 2 times 3 really means. So, when we do 2 groups of 3, the number that we end up with is bigger than the numbers we started with. So that's going to be something that's always true about multiplication. The answer is bigger than the numbers. So let's say the answer is bigger. Is bigger. And then on the other side, what do you notice about the answer to this problem? Yeah, the answer is smaller than the number that we start with. So we'll say the answer is smaller. Okay. So basically what we're doing with multiplication is we're taking groups of the same size and combining them all together. We're collecting groups, and we're creating one big pile of things. Division is the opposite of that. We're taking one big pile of things, and we're distributing them or dividing them into different groups of the same size. So now let's take a look at some word problems so we can decide whether to use multiplication on them or division. And let's pan over here. Okay. We are going to zoom in. Okay, so here's our multiplication problem or division problem. We got to figure out which one we should use by drawing pictures. So your friend just bought packs of basketball cards. Basketball cards are just collectible versions of like different players that you like, that you can have on a card, and you can trade them back and forth. So his parents allowed him to buy 5 packs of cards, and each pack has 4 cards inside. How many basketball cards did he buy total? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. So what I always like to do when I do multiplication or division is I like to underline the question. So the question is, how many basketball cards did he buy total? So what that total tells me is that we're going to take smaller numbers and we're going to multiply them to get a bigger number, to get the total. So we're going to take groups of cards and combine them together, which means we're going to use multiplication. So the multiplication sentence that goes with this is 5 packs times, how many cards in each pack? That's right, 4. Equals, what does it equal? Okay, so for this one, this is a great candidate for drawing a picture. So let's say each pack looks something like that. We'll do a black rectangle. So we have 1 pack of cards, 2 packs of cards, 3 packs of cards, 4 packs of cards. My packs are going to be different sizes, but we'll know that they're really the same size. Going to move these over a little bit. So let's say each one of these black rectangles is a pack of cards. Now what do we do? So these are kind of like our groups. What we do now is we take these packs of cards and we put 4 cards inside of them. So we know inside each one of these packs is 4 cards. So here's what I'll do to represent the cards. I'll just make smaller rectangles. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to do that 4 more times. So each pack is getting 4 cards. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Each pack is getting 4 cards there. So now what we do, we have our 5 packs, and we have 4 cards in each. Basically, we count all of these up. And if you know how to count by 4s, that would be a really nice way to do this. So if you don't know how to count by 4s, you can also just count by 1s to take care of this problem. So I'm going to pretend like I don't know how to count by 4s. If you do, you can do this a little faster. And then I'm just going to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Guess what? We have 20 cards total. And in a word problem, make sure that you label your answer. So I say 20 cards. And that is an example of how you solve a multiplication problem with a drawing. And remember how we decided that was a multiplication problem was we took a look at the numbers, then we took a look at the question, and we decided that it wanted us to combine groups together to get one bigger number. So whenever you see that, and you see smaller groups being collected into one group, that's always multiplication. So come join me next video to figure out when to use division, and then we'll practice deciding between multiplication and division and which process to use. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you back here soon.